Okay, so now our last section is we're going to talk about how to divide a polynomial. And so this isn't too bad. What we're going to do is we're going to divide a polynomial by a monomial. That's as far as we're going to go in this class, which means you divide each term in the numerator by the term in the denominator. And then for exponents, you're going to look at the quotient rule. And so remember that the quotient rule is that when we divide, what we're actually going to be doing is subtracting those exponents. So if we were to divide 4 by exponent of 4 by an exponent of 2, we would actually subtract those to get 2. So for example, we'll start here. So what you're going to end up doing here is 8n squared, and we're going to divide that by 4n, and then we're going to do 36n divided by 4n. Okay, we're going to take each of these two terms and divide them by this bottom term. So when we divide 8 by 2, we get 2. N squared divided by n, remember that's a 1 here, so 2 minus 1 is just 1. We left with 2n. And then negative 36 divided by 4 is negative 9. N divided by n, that's 1 divided by 1, or 1 minus 1, which is going to be 0. And that's really just a 1. So we can just leave it. It gets rid of the n. It cancels it out. And so what we're left with here is 2n minus 9. Okay, so that's division. Here we would do the same thing, but we have a negative 14 x to the 12th y to the 5th, and we're going to divide it by 7x squared y squared. And then we have a 7x squared y squared divided by 7x squared y squared. Okay, so here we're going to start by doing negative 14 divided by 7, which is negative 2. Then here we have a 12 and a 2. We're going to subtract that and get x to the 10th. And a 5 and a 2, we're going to subtract that and get y to the 3rd. And then remember, 7 divided by 7 is 1. And then x squared divided by x squared is 1. Y squared divided by 1 squared is 1. And so what we end up with is just negative 2 x to the 10th y to the 3rd plus 1. Okay, and so that is what dividing is. And so what you're going to be doing on your polynomial quiz that's due tomorrow is that you're going to need to do this last 4 problems. Okay, you're going to divide this monomial by those polynomials. Okay, and so write that however you need to help you out, but that's what you're going to do on those. Okay, all right, so last thing we need to do here is for a geometric application. So how do we use this? All right, so this is saying find the area of the shaded region as a simplified expression. So there's the whole thing, all right, the area of the outer area, we'll call it that, the outer square. But then there's this inner part that we need to get rid of because it's not part of the shaded area. So we need to subtract the area of the inner rectangle. Okay, so to find the shaded area, we're going to take the whole area and we're going to subtract this part that doesn't belong to the shaded area. And so this is going to take a little bit of work here. So we're going to start with this outer part. So the outer one is 9x minus 2 multiplied by 2x plus 7, because remember, area is length times width. Okay, so it's 9x minus 2 multiplied by 2x plus 7. And then we're going to subtract, once we've got all of that simplified, we're going to subtract this 3x being multiplied by the x plus 12. Okay, so we're going to start, I'm going to go ahead and simplify this. So 9x times 2x is 18x squared. 9x times 7 is 63x. Negative 2 times 2x is negative 4x. And negative 2 times 7 is negative 14. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and simplify that all the way down. So I have 18x squared plus 59x minus 14. Okay, now over here I'm going to go ahead and work this out. So 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 12 is 36x. Okay, so I'm going to bring that down, and it's already simplified. 6x, okay? And I'm subtracting all of this, okay? So I have this first polynomial subtract this second polynomial. So it's going to be 18x squared minus 3x squared. That's 15x squared. Then I have a 59x minus 36x. And so I end up with a 23x. And then I have a negative 14, and I'm not subtracting anything from that, so it just stays as a negative 14. And so the area of the shaded region can only be written like this until we know what x is. Then you could simplify it further, but for now we can leave it just like this, okay? So that's how we would do a geometric application. If you were to come across a question like that, that's how we would work it out, okay? All right, so just keep in mind, you're finishing out your polynomial quiz. It will be due tomorrow, so make sure that you come prepared for that. And if you have any questions, just make sure that you ask me about it.